Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you my day 2 Royal Ascot preview and tips for tomorrow's racing. I'll be going through all 7 races and hopefully we can have some winners. But before we get into that, we'll just do a quick recap on how our selections went today. We all started off in the Buckingham Palace handicap with Firmament. That was the first tip. Didn't beat a single rival home. That's the way it goes sometimes. It was an absolute nightmare of a race really for punters. A lot of the fancied horses and the betting didn't come to the fore, and I knew that that probably would be kind of the way. I know the Roger Varian horse that was very well fancied. He ran okay to finish in 3rd place, but it was the Richard Hannon horse in the end. I'm not sure if I could have had him originally, but he did go well fresh from last season, so maybe that was an angle in if you wanted to play on that horse. But I'm not going to dwell too much on that race. It's just the way it goes sometimes. And I think over the next few days, the stand side, like I said in my video yesterday, and like I always say when I talk about Ascot in the flat, you want to be towards the stand side. For some reason, I don't know why. I think maybe it just is a bit quicker normally, even though the going report suggested today maybe it was the slower part of the track. But I always like to be towards the stand side if you can. And then that tactic went against us in the Queen Anne Stakes with Mahatha, which was such an unlucky story. He was probably one of the unlucky horses in the race. Mahatha, you know, there was a massive gamble, 14 to 1 into 5 to 1 not long before the race, and all the connections were talking up his chances, thinking that he had a great chance. And I knew from early on when they came towards the stand side with Circus Maximus that he was going to probably need some gaps to open up for him, and it just never did open up. And then when he just got a little bit of headway to come through in the last furlong or so, he stayed on really strongly and he was a good eye catcher. So yeah, that was a shame with Mahatha. My lay of the day though, Circus Maximus, I called that one wrong. I thought he was always too short. I managed to lay him at 9 to 4, so the liability on that wasn't too bad compared to some of you that might have maybe laid him possibly as big as 5 to 1. So sorry about that. But before that, on the lay-in terms, we'd been going quite well. And if you disagree with my lay as well, make sure you take me on and let me know in the comments box below. Let me know if I'm wrong with my lay of the day and who would be your lay of the day as well. And if you're not aware, in the description box below there are some free bets for the Betfair exchange. So if you click that link, you'll get £20 free bet for the Betfair exchange, and you can also as well use it on the sports book if you wish as well. But I really like the exchange, and you can have lots of place betting as well. You can lay horses for place bets as well, and that's going to be a feature on tomorrow's lay. I'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video, what my lay of the day is tomorrow. But hopefully we can get back on track with that, because we were doing quite well with it until today. But after the Queen Anne, it went to the Riversdale with Frankie Darling. Frankie Darling, she pulled like a train from early on, and I was thinking, hello here, we've got a beat. But to be fair to her, she was a very comfortable winner. Not sure maybe what she beat, because I think that Lingfield Oaks trial wasn't great form. Passion, our selection, was the solid bet of the race to finish in the each way terms. Got 7 to 1 out there I saw earlier in the day, so if you got the 7 to 1, that would have been a fair price to take. She ran respectably, finishing in 3rd place, but Frankly Darling continued the winning connections in that race that they won with Starcatcher last year. The Oppenheimers won with Starcatcher last year, and then she went on to win the Irish Oaks, won a couple of other Group 1s as well over in France. So she does look like she could have a bright future, Frankly Darling. But I'm quite interested in Francino. Some of you might have seen on Twitter why I like Francino. She won at Newbury at the weekend, and it's going to be really interesting to see what fillies John Gosden sends to the Epsom Oaks next month. So yeah, she was probably the star of the day, and was definitely the best performance. But moving on after that, Mogul, I was always against Mogul. We put up Arthur's Kingdom just as a win bet. He came in 2nd place. He ran okay, but Pile Driver is a great story for connections. I think he was unsold for, or they wanted £10,000 for him at the sales, and they never got the £10,000, so they kept him in training. And he's always been an admirable horse for Willie Muir. Finished 2nd behind Berlin Tango, which is another element we'll talk about later on in this video. But yeah, he deserved to win a race of that nature. You know, he'd been knocking on the door, running some solid, consistent races. And yeah, he was a great winner for Willie Muir. Mogul, not sure, maybe he might come forward for the run, not sure about the Derby. I know the bookmakers will be rubbing their hands together because they had quite a bit of a liability in the Derby markets. But yeah, Mogul, not sure, maybe might come on. Japan came on last season for his first run quite a lot. Maybe he could be one to follow later on in the autumn. And Arthur's Kingdom, yeah, I think he ran okay. I don't think he's one of their top 3-year-old colts. And I don't think, to be fair, Aidan O'Brien's got that many good 3-year-old colts. I think he's got better fillies this year than he has with the boys. So yeah, that's how the King Edward VII Stakes went. We then had a bit more luck, probably our best tip of the day. We said Batash would win, but we didn't recommend Batash as our bet. We recommended Equilateral just in case anything went wrong with Batash. But it was great to see Batash break his duck. But Equilateral, to be fair to him, ran a solid race, finished in second place, advertised at 14 to 1 last night. I said that the time to catch him is fresh, and I won't back him again next time out unless he's had a bit of a break between races, because if they're going to check him out next month, for example, I would want to take him on. If they maybe left him fresh, say for the race at York, the Group 1 Nunthorpe Stakes, or if they maybe took their chance in the Haydock Sprint Cup, maybe he might be a bit more of interest there, or possibly the Goodwood race down the hill as well to maybe make the frame. But yeah, he's not one that I'm going to be siding with anytime soon. Our nap of the day, Jubiluso, not sure what happened at all. She got into a good position, but she just couldn't live with the pace. Maybe something was amiss there. Something might come out tonight or tomorrow or over the week why she went wrong, because there was a lot of shrewd people tipping her up, not just me. But yeah, she was really disappointing. And then in the last race, Dubai 50, I thought he was running a really good race for a long way. You know, he was showing good enthusiasm. He wasn't like massively keen. I think that's just him. Settled in just off the leader, off Frankie, but I think they went quite hard early on, and it paid for the closers. Coeur de Lion won that race, and he's one of those horses, Coeur de Lion, when every time you back him, he might just nick a place for you in the extra place markets, but I can never catch him right. He's one of those horses, not a cliff horse, but he's one of those horses that very consistent, but when you back him, they never win. They just miss out. So yeah, so that's how it went on day 1 of Royal Ascot today. Nothing to write home about at all. Would have come out with a slight loss, but at least we had a couple of each ways to make the damage not so bad as what it could have been. But yeah, we'll move into day 2 tomorrow now with all my tips, and it's not getting any easier. But we're going to start off tomorrow in the 1:15 at Ascot, the Silver Royal Hunt Cup. And to be fair, I think the favourite could be a good thing here. Ouzo, couldn't find an alternative really that I could get my teeth stuck into at a bigger price, but I just thought he was really solid for Richard Hannon and Ryan Moore. Won 3 in a row last season and looked a really progressive handicapper. And then maybe in the latter half, I think he picked up a niggle. And then when he featured at the end of the season, they probably should have just put him away for this year. But he returned really well, I thought, at Newmarket. And he was just touched off by an Andrew Bolden horse who was running in group company last year called Bell Rock. I think that was a really good handicap, and he beat a few horses that are going to be running in some of these races tomorrow, and he did it really well. He went away from the rest of the field, and Bell Rock just literally got him, nutted him on the line, and Ouzo was unlucky that day. But he stays on a mark of 91, which I think looks fair. He could easily have another £5 to come. He's going to be drawn against the stand side as well, so that's going to be good there. If Ryan Moore can get him in a good position, Ryan Moore isn't always my favourite jockey when he's coming from off the pace and he's trying to get through traffic. Look at rides a couple of years ago, like Sir Isaac Newton, when he got absolutely boxed in. And as long as he doesn't get in too much traffic problems tomorrow, which is always the key in this race, not to get into too much traffic problems, he's got a good chance, I think. And with the extra places, I've seen 6 places on offer. It'll be in the description box below how many the maximum places are, but 5 to 1 is the best price I've seen. And if he does make the frame, you're going to get your money back. So yeah, 5 to 1. He's a classic dirty each way, but I just thought he was a really solid contender, a really likeable horse. And Hannon's won the first race today, and I think they could definitely do the same tomorrow. We then move to the 150, the Hampton Court Stakes. Now, I thought this race was quite a tricky one to work out. Part of me wants to tip up Kensai Warrior for Roger Till. I love that horse, but I'm just not sure about him. But the one that I came down with, and this was a last minute change, was Berlin Tango for Oisin Murphy and Andrew Bolden. Now this horse beat Pile Driver last time in a Group 3 at Hampton, which was the rearranged classic trial from Sandown. He did it well that day, Berlin Tango. He was very prominent from out the off, and then he was a comfortable winner on the day. And I think if he uses those tactics tomorrow, he can go very close to winning. He's a good each way price on the dirt each way spectacle of things, 11-2. And I think he's got a great chance for Oisin Murphy and Andrew Bolden. Pile Driver, as we know, went on to win the Group 2 King Edward 7th Stakes today, so that's a good level of form. And last season as a 2-year-old, he wasn't a bad 2-year-old. He was running in some decent races. I don't think he wants any further than this, but if he can get a good start tomorrow, be up with the pace, I think he's got a great chance of going very close. So yeah, Berlin Tango in what looks a competitive but tricky race. I think he represents good value, despite him having to give away, actually I should have mentioned, a £4 penalty for that Group 3 success. But I'm not sure the likes of First Receiver are that experienced enough for a race of this nature yet, even though they do deserve to take their chance up in grade. But the likes of One Elcano and First Receiver, I just think they're a little bit short. And Berlin Tango, I think he could nearly go off potentially favourite tomorrow. So for me, he's going to be my tip in the Hampton Court. We then go in the King George V. Now, this race actually I thought was very tricky, and we'll get the layout the way first. And like I said, if you want to get those free bets, make sure you click the link in the description box below, and you'll get £20 if you want to do my lay, or if you want to take me on, you know, and back him for a place. You know, he could run well tomorrow, this selection for the place. But yeah, I'm going to go against him with a place lay, and it means the damage will be less as well if it went against us. But yeah, in the 225, I'm going to lay the favourite currently for David Probert and Hughie Morrison. That's going to be my lay of the day, and I'm going to lay him for 5 places where you can currently lay him at the current time of recording for 1.5. That's on the Betfair exchange. And like I said, if you want to get that free bet account, make sure you click the link below and just follow all the terms and conditions. But yeah, Kipps, you know, for Hughie Morrison, the yard isn't really far, and 1 winner from 25. I would like to see them maybe chipping in a few more, or some of their horses running a little bit better. Kipps as well, the form I thought was actually let down, because I put up Glentees the other day at Goodwood, and you might remember Glentees was really badly interfered by Oisin Murphy at Goodwood when it was the free runner race. But yeah, I just didn't think the form was that good, and the Mick Shannon horse Walk On By won that race that day. And for me, I just think Kipps, his attitude wasn't that great. He should have knuckled down a lot harder, even though, yeah, you can maybe forgive him, it was his first run of the season and he could still be open to improvement. I just think he's awfully short in a race of this nature, and I think at 5 places tomorrow, I think he's a good lay, a good place bet lay. So that's going to be my lay of the day tomorrow, the place angle for Kipps in the 225. But my main selection for the race is going to be with a horse called Winner Clock for Hollie, Doyle and Roger Charlton. Roger Charlton won this race back in 2017 with Addeybb, so he can do all right in it. And one key to this race in recent years is you want to be drawn wide, and this horse hasn't got the worst draw tomorrow. It's got a double figure draw, which is going to help. You do it if you're towards the inside, that can be a real negative. But in the King George V tomorrow, yeah, Winner Clock looks a good bet, I think. Now this horse won very well last time at Haydock, and at one point looked really badly outpaced, but then in the last furlong, this horse, under hands and heels from Jason Watson, I think it was that day, just went past them with ease. And yeah, the form might not amount to much, but this horse, if you actually look back through its form as a juvenile, crying out for more of a stamina test, and going to be a nice low racing weight tomorrow. Hollie Doyle started the season in cracking form. Again, you're going to get multiple places at 8-1. I think that is a great each way bet. I think this horse can go really close, and Hollie Doyle, if she does win tomorrow, she'll be only the third woman to win at Royal Ascot, with Gay Kellaway and Hayley Turner being the first 2 women to win at Royal Ascot. So hopefully she can make a little bit of history there tomorrow. But yeah, I think Hollie Doyle's got a great chance on 1 o'clock, and that's going to be my selection in the King George V. We then go to the 3 o'clock. Now, I could have laid Japan here. I think you have to take him on at the prices. But it wouldn't at all surprise me if he won, because he is the best horse, I think, in the race, and he's still got maybe a bit more to come. But first time out, do I want to get stuck into him with Aidan O'Brien's often needing the first run back? Probably not. The one I'm going to take him on with is Addeybb for Tom Marquand and William Haggas, favourite horse of mine. If you've been following me for the last couple of years, you might remember I put him up when he bolted up in the Lincoln. He was very impressive that day, and he's just gone from strength to strength, and he's now a dual Group 1 winner. He won some Group 1s down in Australia a couple of months ago with Tom Marquand aboard when we had the lockdown going on. And he beat some alright horses down there as well. He beat no mugs, and he's got a good record at Ascot. He won the Wolverton Stakes with a bit of cut in the ground, and that's the key to him. So the rain that has come has just tempted Haggas to put him in, and I think this horse, like I said, he's got a great chance tomorrow. But he won the Wolverton Stakes here last year on soft ground, and then he followed up on Champions Day with a really good battle with Magical in the Champion Stakes. So he likes the track. The key to him is the ground, so probably run at his optimum. But I think he's got a good chance tomorrow. I'll go him really close. And again, 13-2, that's a solid each way. But I know I think actually all my tips are each way tomorrow. But I just think there's a lot of good value to be had, and we only need a couple of these to come in with some good each ways, or just one to win, and we're going to have some profit. So yeah, Addeybb, I think I can't see him being out the first three if the rain does still come, and there are the odd shower. I believe there could be some showers tonight, so if it does have a little bit of ease in the ground still, yeah, Addeybb, he's a solid contender to run a massive race in the Prince of Wales, and he's going to be my selection there. We then go to my nap of the day. Now, if you were listening to the In the Saddle podcast, this is my nap for the whole Royal Ascot, so no pressure. Probably absolutely fluff it now. But I think Afaak tomorrow at 16-1 each way with 7 places I've seen out there of some firms is a cracking bet for Charlie Hills and Cieren Fallon Jr., who's able to claim a handy £3. Now, this horse absolutely loves this race. In the last couple of years, he finished second in 2018, and then he won it first time out last season, and he won it quite convincingly as well. Prominent race, he'd always been knocking at the door in these kind of handicaps at like York and Goodwood, all those kind of tracks, and he was able to get his head in front, and he did really well. And he's now back down with the £3 claim tomorrow. He's going to be running off the same mark at the same weight level, and I just think in a race of this nature, you want horses that know how to win in these kind of competitive events. And I just thought he represented quite a lot of value, and I think he's maybe a little bit underlooked in the market, and I thought 16-1 represented a really good value. Like I said, he can go well fresh, that's not going to be an issue. Stall 18 as well, which is perfect towards that stand side. Charlie Hills had the 1-2 today in the King stand, so the yard are going okay. And I just think these are great each way solid bet tomorrow. There's a lot to like about his chances. Cieren Fallon as well would be great. He's a rising star of the weighing room. It would be great if he could get a Royal Ascot winner under his belt, but I think there's a massive chance of this horse going all the way tomorrow, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he went off maybe shorter than 10-1. I could see the money coming for him, but like I said, you want to take I think it's going to be these horses you want to play, and the sexy horses that are unexposed and maybe have a bit more to offer, they're the ones often that can let you down in these handicaps more often than not. So yeah, for me, Afaak, he's going to be my nap of the day, and hopefully he can do the business. We then go in the 4:10 at the Windsor Castle. Again, a really competitive race, really hard to know, really, because these are all juveniles. Most of them have only run once, but I thought Tactical for Andrew Boldin and James Doyle could go really well tomorrow in the colours of Her Majesty the Queen. It'd be great if we could have a royal winner, and aptly named Windsor Castle. I believe that's where she is at the moment, so it would be aptly named if it did all happen in the enigma of things. But this horse, I thought he ran a really good race on debut when he finished third at Newmarket behind Eye of Heaven, who's one of the leading candidates. I think he could be either going for the Norfolk or the Coventry. We don't know yet. It's not been confirmed, I think, but maybe it has. But if it has, let me know in the comments box below. But yeah, I thought he ran really well, and he didn't get away sharply. He was one of the last out of the stalls, but when he did get going, he showed a lot of good pace. And then at one point, he was really badly hampered inside the last furlong, and he looked like he was going to finish in fourth. And then he showed another turn of gear again, and he finished in 3rd place. I think he will come massively forward for that run, and he's got a good draw tomorrow against the stand side, so if they do go down there, he's on the right part of the track. You know, he's by Tornado as well, whose progeny will improve in time. But yeah, tactical tomorrow, I think he's got a really good chance in a wide open race, and with multiple places again on offer, 7-1 is a fair each way price, and he'll just have to do for me. We then end with my next best, which is going to come in the 440, the Copper Horse handicap, and I really like the chances here of a horse called Floating Artist for Pat Dobbs and Richard Hannon. Now this horse is already a course winner at Ascot. He beat a really nice horse called Fallon, who I believe's mum is actually won the Arc a few years ago, so he's the son of an Arc winner on the dam side. But yeah, but Floating Artist, he did the job really well that day, and he's not a fast horse. He just wants a trip, and he's going up to 1 mile and 6 tomorrow, which I think is going to be a massive advantage for him. Richard Hannon last year was quite bullish and said he was a St Ledger horse, and he did show some class in a race at Goodwood where he finished 4th, but he wasn't that far beaten behind Alnaif Road, who won the Group 3 Sagaro Stakes at Newcastle last week, and also as well Alnaif Road made the frame, I believe, in the St Ledger last year, so that was a good form line. Spanish Mission as well only just beat Floating Artists, and he went on and he won a really good race in America, so the form was stacking up quite nicely for Floating Artists there. The handicapper hasn't missed him, he's off 105, but he runs to that level more often than not. He ran okay, I thought, on his seasonal reappearance, which he probably needed at Newmarket, and a really actually good listed race that Dashing Willoughby won, so that was a good race for the grade. And I just think in this race tomorrow there's not that many great horses, and even though he is going to have to carry top weight tomorrow, I think he's going to be a strong stayer, and this is what he's been crying out for. And with his 100% record at Ascot, I think he's got a massive chance. He's not got the worst draw as well. I think he's still 10, so yeah, it's not going to be the worst draw for him. I think he's got a good chance of going very well at a price, and at 16-1 I'm quite bullish about his chances tomorrow. And that's why he's going to be my next best. So yeah, I think he's got a good chance tomorrow, going very well. But it's going to be a difficult day whatever happens, because a lot of competitive racing, but hopefully there we can have a few winners and maybe a few decent each way chances. But yeah, let me know in the comments box below what your tips are for tomorrow. Really enjoyed reading your tips from yesterday's or today's racing, interacting with you guys in the comments, finding out what you fancy. Really enjoy it, having a bit of debate as well, so make sure you leave the comments in the comments box below. Like the video as well, it all helps. And to not miss an episode on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Really appreciate all the support you give me, so thanks for that. Also as well, if you want those free bets, make sure you click the link in the description box below. And if you want to follow me on social media as well, the best place to do so is on Twitter, where my handle is @LuckyLoads15. And if you also want to find out more about myself, go to my website, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk, full list of my portfolio, and you can find out a bit more about my career in racing. So that's what I got to say. Please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.